Hey guys, this is Adam Romero, aka Perv McSwerve from Massive Novelties. This video may very well be one of the most important, if not the most useful video that I will probably ever make for this community. Today I'm going to cover my systematic approach to how much time you should use and how much weight you should use in order to progress. In this video, I'll be covering two different systems to track your progress. The first method will involve calculating your fatigue after every session. Fatigue is measured by dividing your post-session length into your pre-session length. Both of these are done bone-pressed, stretch, flaccid length. You will oftentimes see bone-pressed, stretch, flaccid length abbreviated as BPSFL. This is accomplished by grabbing the head of the penis and pulling away from the body as far as you can at a 90-degree angle. I find that using a bit of toilet paper or a paper towel provides an additional bit of grip to help you get accurate measurements. After you stretch your penis as far as possible away from your body, you will then press a ruler into the top of the shaft where the penis meets the abdomen and push in as hard as possible. This is what's known as your bone-pressed, stretched, flaccid length. For example, if you begin the session at 100 millimeters, and at the end you're 103 millimeters, then we divide 103 by 100 and we get 1.03, which means we achieved a 3% elongation in that session. We will always strive to achieve a 2% minimum between your post and your pre bone press stretch flaccid length. If you fail to hit a 2% elongation for one entire week or 4 sessions, it is time to progress in either time or weight. Now, if doing all of that math and sciencey stuff and measuring doesn't appeal to you, then that's perfectly fine, because the other method that we're going to use is simply going to be measuring your bone press stretch flaccid length once per week. In the beginning stages of wearing an extender or hanging, we're simply trying to condition the tissues. And that is to say, we're getting them used to the novel process of being stretched and strained and attached to things like vacuum cups, compression hangers, extenders, and the like. Start low and go slow. In my time in the PE sphere, I've never seen an objection to the beginner advice of starting with about 5 pounds for around 30 minutes. So we'll use that as a starting point here. Your body will be the ultimate deciding factor here. So if you experience pain or any type of discomfort, then stop immediately. PE is never truly going to be comfortable, per se. There's always going to be a little bit of discomfort. It's just part of the process. There will always be some discomfort associated with pulling on your penis. However, the pain that you experience should never truly be painful or truly discomforting. You will know the difference, because there is a difference between productive discomfort or pain and destructive discomfort or pain. Your body knows best, so listen to it. That said, I feel the need to reiterate once again, PE should never be painful or truly discomforting. The planned progression of time and weight over time is known as periodization. It's how we will intelligently maximize each weight and each time so that you continue to grow for as long as possible while using as little weight as possible. Let's revisit that example of 5 pounds for 30 minutes. After 2 weeks of using 5 pounds for 30 minutes, little Timmy notices his bone press stretch flaccid length hasn't increased, and he is failing to hit 2% elongation. What do? Simple. We add time. My minimum recommendation for a PE session after you have gone through the initial phase of using 5 pounds for 30 minutes is that I recommend PE sessions be a minimum of 40 minutes. So now that little Timmy has been using 5 pounds for 30 minutes for 2 weeks and has now stalled, we will simply add more time and he will use 5 pounds for 40 minutes. Not surprisingly, little Timmy starts to grow again. Timmy's bone press stretch flaccid length increases, and he's now consistently hitting 4% fatigue after every session. Great job, Timmy. After some time, little Timmy's bone press stretch flaccid length and his fatigue percentage stop going up. So what do we do now? Simple. We again add more time. Timmy will now simply use 5 pounds for 50 minutes. And not surprisingly, Timmy's little Jimmy begins to grow again. So you can see that the trend here is to add time, whether in 5 or 10-minute increments, until you reach a maximum of about 70 to 90 minutes. I personally never go over 70 minutes simply because my lifestyle won't allow it. Although 90 minutes is within the realm of what studies have shown us will work. So, now we finally get to the point where Timmy has been using 5 pounds for 70 minutes and is seeing no more work, no more progress, no more length. What do we do now? The answer is we add weight and reduce the time. Instead of using 5 pounds for 70 minutes, we will now use 6 pounds for 40 minutes. Again, using the methods of measuring your bone press stretch flaccid length or calculating fatigue, we must determine if that amount of weight for that amount of time is sufficient. As I said before, give it a complete 2 weeks or 4 total sessions. If you haven't seen any growth by that point, it is entirely indicated to increase in either time or weight. Preferably time first and weight always second. So the same rules apply as before. If your bone press stretch flaccid length doesn't go up, simply add time in either 5 or 10 minutes and then assess over the course of 2 weeks or 4 PE sessions. I'm now going to read you a chart compiled from my own personal PE training when I first started out, and you'll begin to notice a trend. In the beginning, I used 5 pounds for 30 minutes, 5 pounds for 40 minutes, for 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and then added weight and dropped time to 6 pounds for 40 minutes, then 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes. Then add weight and drop time to 7 pounds for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes. And then add weight and drop time to 8 pounds for 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes. And then add weight and drop time, and so on and so forth. Remember to only add weight when we cannot increase time anymore. For some of you, 60-minute sessions are all that your lifestyle will allow, or all that you are willing to allot to PE in a day. For some of you, it'll be 90. The same rules of progressing in weight and time still apply, no matter the maximum duration of your PE session. 90 minutes is the absolute maximum amount of time before you start to see drastically decreasing returns. And in that case, when you hit 90 minutes, it becomes more indicated and better if you add weight than if you continue to add time. For example, going from 90 minutes to 100 minutes with 5 pounds may not be as effective as going down to 60 minutes with 5 pounds or 6 pounds. Your results may vary. I'd like to teach you a very simple concept that applies to a lot of things, if not most things in life. and that is do as little as necessary, not as much as possible. Again, only progress in weight or time when you have failed to see growth in 2 weeks or 4 PE sessions. Over the course of hundreds of DMs and emails that I've received, implemented correctly, I have yet to see this approach fail to produce consistent results across very large periods of time. The main issue that I see with other forms of progression is that the principle of progressive overload seems to be applied. Well, progressive overload is a concept that works. However, I do not believe that it is as effective as using as little weight and as little time as necessary to hit your prescribed fatigue, or measuring your bone press stretch flaccid length and making sure that that continues to increase at least once a week. As always, thank you guys for watching the video, and please, if you would, consider liking, subscribing, or sharing this video. It really does help me, guys. Thanks again.